Throne of Bones is officially out. More about the short story after the video. Hermione is smart, so she should be in Ravenclaw. Neville is loyal, so he should be in Hufflepuff. And Wormtail, total snake, definitely a Slytherin. For years, people have treated the Hogwarts Houses like personality quizzes. And that ends today, or whenever you watch this video, I guess. It ends. Let's go back to where all of this started, the Sorting Hat's first song. You might belong in Gryffindor, while dwell the brave of heart, their daring nerve and chivalry set Gryffindors apart. You might belong in Hufflepuff, where they are just and loyal, those patient Hufflepuffs are true and unafraid of toil. Or yet in wise old Ravenclaw, if you've already mind, where those of wit and learning will always find their kind. Or perhaps in Slytherin, you'll make your real friends, those cunning folks use any means to achieve their ends. On the surface, this sounds like a personality test, right? If you're brave, you belong in Gryffindor, ambitious, Slytherin, loyal, Hufflepuff, smart, Ravenclaw, easy. But when you actually read the book, that neat little system immediately falls apart. For example, Hermione is sorted into Gryffindor, yet she is the brightest witch of her age. And despite also being sorted into Gryffindor, Neville spends the majority of the Sorcerer's Stone worried and afraid. And Wormtail, Peter Pettigrew, barely has a spine. How did he ever make it into Gryffindor? Even Harry could have easily been sorted into Slytherin. In the fandom, we often look at Harry as special because he got to choose his house when everyone else got sorted. Said a small voice in his ear. Difficult, very difficult. Plenty of courage I see, not a bad mind either. There's talent, oh my goodness, yes. And a nice thirst to prove yourself. Now that's interesting. So, where shall I put you? Harry gripped the edges of a stool and thought, not Slytherin, not Slytherin. Not Slytherin, eh? Are you sure? You could be great, you know. It's all here in your head, and Slytherin will help you on the way to greatness, no doubt about that. No? Well, if you're sure, better be Gryffindor. Most people read this as Harry choosing his house, and when I say most people, I include myself, at least on my first read. But now, I think there is something deeper happening here. Up until this point of the novel, Harry has shown a fair bit of cunning. Jumping onto the roof of the school to avoid Dudley and setting the snake loose at the zoo are two perfect examples. He's also shown plenty of bravery. He faces Dudley, the school bully, and Vernon on a daily basis. He isn't too bothered by a snake running loose in the zoo, and not bothered by one talking to him either. He isn't too worried about a giant smashing through the door. A giant that kind of kidnaps him, I might add. And while he shows both elements of Gryffindor and Slytherin in his personality, it all comes down to what Harry values. The hat doesn't say, you are ambitious. It says, you could be great in Slytherin. He's tempting him with success, and Harry says no. That's not just a personality test, that's a values test. He doesn't want greatness, he wants to face challenges with a heart of steel. And even if it means enduring some suffering.
So, you're gonna suffer, but you're gonna be happy about it.
That's the secret to the Hogwarts sorting. It's not about who you are, it's about what you value most. Really, Harry manifests all the traits the Sorting Hat mentions. He is brave, hardly studies, and still does well in classes. He is loyal, and he is cunning. This is true for all the students. Hermione, for example, is cunning. Just ask Marietta Hedgecombe. Hermione is insanely loyal. She would thrive in Ravenclaw. She's brilliant. However, books and cleverness are not what drives her. She says so herself.
Me, books and cleverness are more important things.
She doesn't just want to be the smartest, she wants to be brave enough to use that intelligence for good. She founded Dumbledore's army leading the student rebellion against the Ministry of Magic. Let's look at Neville as well. He's one of the best herbology students and goes on to become a professor. Sounds like Ravenclaw material to me. He is a loyal friend, and without cunning, I doubt he could have taken on the mantle Fred, George, Harry, Ron, and Hermione all left behind at Hogwarts. What's driving Neville through all of this is a want to live up to his parents' legacy, and for a large portion of the series, he's afraid that he won't. But that fear doesn't disqualify him from Gryffindor. It's kind of what makes him a Gryffindor. Let's look at Crabbe and Goyle next. They are ambitious, loyal, and growl enough for me to think they're brave, and they're smart. Okay, I'm pushing it now.
I didn't know you could read.
And then there's Wormtail. He's the one everyone points to when they say, see, the system's broken. But Wormtail is probably the strongest evidence so far that the sorting looks at desire and motivation over personality traits. Very obvious why he wasn't placed in Slytherin. He doesn't crave power and knowledge. He worshipped bravery. He latched on to people who had courage. James, Sirius, even Voldemort, because he lacked it himself. And tragically, he failed to ever find it. So, sure, Harry would do well in Slytherin. Sure, Hermione would do well in Ravenclaw. Why wouldn't they? It's just a school. But the Sorting Hat's job is to put them together with their founder. Gryffindor valued bravery. Slytherin valued ambition. Ravenclaw valued intellect. Hufflepuff valued loyalty and kindness. So, no, Hermione shouldn't be in Ravenclaw. Neville shouldn't be in Hufflepuff, and Wormtail, for all his flaws, belongs exactly where he was put. The Sorting Hat doesn't tell you who you are. It tells you who you want to be. And that's a much more interesting story. Since F.S. Adonis stole his first novel, Andre has fought to keep from caving into the abyss she ripped in his soul. He believes that performing his latest novel, Throne of Bones, on the Metro will keep his creative spirit alive. But when a prejudiced stranger's violent reaction to his performance leaves him physically and emotionally jarred, Andre must decide whether to share his dark stories with a world that fears what it doesn't understand, or risk widening the festering hole in his soul. You might belong in Gryffindor, where dwell the brave at heart, their daring nerve and chivalry set Gryffindors apart.